Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Xbox seminar. I'm Josh Baccetti, a Master Trainer here with the US training team, and we are going to be talking about Xbox Everywhere. And the reason I actually titled this seminar Xbox Everywhere, we talk about Xbox Play Anywhere, right? For those of us that are familiar with that, it's the experience of playing an Xbox game on a separate device. So being able to play Gears 5 on your console as well as on your PC. So usually the specific titles have that capability to play on multiple devices. It's usually up to the developer or the publisher as to whether that's going to be part of that game. So when we look at Xbox Play Anywhere and what it used to mean and what Xbox Everywhere kind of means now, we're going to take a look at the Xbox experience and the ecosystem of how it generally is perceived, which is, a console and a controller. But then pushing it to those other platforms, so PC and then also on mobile, because we'll be talking a little bit about Project xCloud as well. So hopefully this seminar will be, a good quick refresher of Xbox ecosystem, not just being console-centric, but being consumer-centric. So what are all the different devices and avenues of utilizing our Xbox experience are our consumers actually using? So we figure out that they're using their mobile device quite a bit for all these different mobile apps and games. You have games like the Pop Gears game that became very popular. So we know that people are using their mobile devices for gaming. We know that they're using their PCs for more than just doing Excel spreadsheets, right? These are the known things within the gaming universe. So Xbox has actually positioned their brand to cater to as many different consumers as possible, as long as they're gaming on some kind of device. And again, we'll refresh you on that main tagline we always use, which is play the games you want with the friends you want on the devices you want. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Well, let's hop in and actually take a look at what Xbox as a brand provides that actually pushes our ecosystem to these other devices. So obviously, we've got our wonderful Xbox franchises, Gears, Halo, all the good things you can come to expect when you play on our platform. Now, new exclusives like Bleeding Edge. We got Minecraft Dungeons coming out on May 26th. A lot of really cool things to look forward to. And so really, we look at this from a perspective of how many different consumers or gamers can we get playing our title? Well, obviously, that answer is going to expand quite a bit once we add in mobile, PC, and console all on the table and available for people to play on. So one of the big components of that is Game Pass. So we talk about Xbox Game Pass quite a bit. We're all familiar with it. And, it's that typical library of over 100 games that they can play at a moment's notice for a low monthly price. Where Game Pass started to allow Xbox to transition to other devices, we'll talk about with Game Pass Ultimate. And we just want to go through that really quick refresher. Game Pass, over 100 different games on the library. You can download them directly to your console. And if you want to purchase the game, you can actually purchase it at a discounted price through the Game Pass subscription. So a lot of really cool perks that our consumers get when they utilize this service. But when we talk about the actual key selling points of this service, first of all, price and value. It's going to be all of these games that you're able to access for a low monthly price. So relative to actually picking up different games for, let's say, $60 MSRP, you've got, over 100 different ones, and each one of those titles is available to you just as long as your subscription is still active. So an awesome opportunity for people to jump into our ecosystem, try out different games. Maybe the games that are being flaunted in our marketing aren't as appealing to certain gamers, so they get to go in and explore and find a title that's perfect for them. Day one launch exclusives is obviously another big key selling point. Everything that is exclusive or first party developed, whether it's Gears, Halo, Minecraft Dungeons, Bleeding Edge, these titles are going to be available on Game Pass the day they launch. So people who have this subscription aren't going to feel left behind in any way, shape, or form when this game comes out. There's no lag time between a Game Pass member being able to play Halo and the person who bought it in store the first day playing Halo. No difference. That's a huge perk. Try then buy, obviously, one of our new key selling points as well, talking about the ability to try out these games, decide whether you want to play it or not, and then pick it up at a discounted price. So we've all been through this circle of why the platforms like Twitch and Mixer become so popular. It's because viewers want to see gameplay. They want to see the actual product in action. No different than when you're buying a car and you want to actually go out and test drive that car, see how it feels, how it turns, what kind of horsepower you're working with, how does that affect when you accelerate. All these different factors go into purchasing a product. That's pretty self-explanatory, I think, to most of us. But we somehow think about it differently with gaming. A trailer or a very high definition poster does not have the same appeal as actually being able to go in and try out that product. So Game Pass allows our consumers to do that. And then if it's a game that does, strike their fancy, they can pick it up at a cheaper price. We're all winners in this situation. The game library, obviously, we talked about, and the gameplay quality. So again, we talk about streaming games, the Netflix of games, if you will. Well, the difference here is when you're on Netflix, you can go to pretty much any title, right? And you can click on it and it will play almost immediately. Now, one thing that Netflix is known for is that ability to instantaneously stream. But what's happening is you are streaming that content, meaning that you are connecting to a separate server to actually get the information from that TV show, movie, documentary, what it may be. And Netflix is showcasing that to you in real time. So there's actually a bit of processing and bandwidth utilization and internet all kind of combining to give you the best quality at all times. I'm sure some of us have watched Netflix movies or shows and been like, why has the movie been high def until now, but now it's all like pixelated and weird, and then it goes back to being high def? And we've gone through that before. You don't experience that with Game Pass, and that's because of the ability to download and play in full fidelity. So you aren't streaming games off of Xbox Game Pass. You are basically given access to this entire library that is ever changing. And if you want to play a game, you download it onto your Xbox. It's available right there for you. And even if you decide to not play it, at some point and you uninstall it, it'll still be available in that Game Pass library as long as it's on the list for that month. So very exciting things looking at Xbox Game Pass and how that actually traverses us into these new devices. Console, the main route for gaming with pretty much anyone. We all tend to start with a console. If you're part of the Xbox community, we've got the OG Xbox all the way up there on the top of the bookshelf. You got to pay the respects to the OGs. So console's been very familiar to a lot of us, not just in Xbox, but other platforms as well. So we knew that there was already, a healthy community engaging with this device and enjoying the Xbox experience on this device. But there's still other people out there and other gamers that utilize different devices for different reasons. Maybe they use, their PC for a certain game that needs them to run higher quality graphics, and then they play more of the platformer style on their Xbox, whatever the reason may be. We'd like to talk about how many different ways can we get our experience into the consumer's hand. So we started to see this start to turn last year, earlier in the year, when we started to see the Xbox All S, or the Xbox One S all digital, coming out and basically catering, again, to a specific type of consumer that interacts with their device in a different way than another consumer. The people that this device really work for consume most of their content digitally already. Their movies, their music, their games, everything has been on their Xbox for quite some time. So they're not using discs as much. They're not going out and buying hard copies. They're usually going onto the store and looking at what's available or what deals are going on, and then just downloading them straight to their hard drive. So the Xbox One S all digital kind of started this whole transition into you don't have to play like everyone else. And now actually speeding that up and showing what kind of advancements we've seen. When we talk about the SL Digital, there's a lot of features here that really speak to the mission of getting the consumer in the middle of our ecosystem versus just the console. So this kind of brought up no disk drive, having a completely digital library, using the cloud to actually, access your saves and all of your content. So these allow us to basically get the consumer's attention, let them know, hey, there's another way to play. Let me show you what it is. But it did start that transition into the PC and mobile realm as people started to think about Xbox in a different way. Now, speaking of seeing Xbox in a different light, Xbox Game Studios, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a pretty big focal point into our ecosystem as we move forward into the Series X launch. Xbox Game Studios, it's just insane when you think about 15 separate studios basically brought in hoping that they would create content under the Xbox Game Studios banner, solving for one of those biggest areas of feedback within our platform for the last 10 years, which is exclusive games. So we'll see a lot more information about games coming out, pretty soon. The E3 timeframe will come around. We'll get more details. And as we move into the Series X launch in December, we'll hear some more details, I'm sure, from a lot of these different developers. So just the ones to call out, you've got Undead Labs here, who created the State of Decay franchise. We are expected to see another title in that series. We'll see if it's confirmed. You never know this early on in the year, but if that happens, we're very excited to be able to see that. 343 Industries, you have to know. I mean, Halo, come on now. Huge developer to be able to welcome into our doors at Xbox Game Studios. Rare, I mean, I won't even go into Rare. Rare has done just an insane amount of different content and different titles that most of us are familiar with from, growing up on Nintendo and going to Xbox and then being able to play the Banjo-Kazooies of the world on the 360. Rare and Xbox have over time really started to strengthen their romantic relationship, if you will. We love having Rare, love having this team as a part of the Game Studios Coalition, with Gears, the Initiative, Forza, so many different, Turn 10 with Forza, so many different studios working on so many different types of games. So that's what's really exciting, is it's not 15 studios that make Fallout type games in Obsidian. It's actually a bunch of different developers that create very, very, very content. So the Rare titles are going to be drastically different than what you'll see with Double Fine, than what you'll see with Minecraft, all the way over to open world racing games, RPGs. It's going to be an insane pool of content for our consumers to explore. But not only that, explore them on the device that they're most comfortable with. So as we start to move forward with our Game Pass service, we talked about some of our games. We talked about the Xbox Series X and how that started to change the mentality of how Xbox is played. What does it mean to play Xbox? What does it mean to play Xbox? What does it mean to play Xbox? Is it simply something that you play on a console and you play with co-op people in your local living room? Is that what you're trying to convey to our consumers? Not necessarily. That is a part of, experiencing Xbox. You can certainly play couch co-op and enjoy the experience just fine. But we don't want to limit it to just that experience, because that may be just one consumer's idea of what is fun to use our device for. So as we look at Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, it is clearly evolving from the base service of Xbox Game Pass and providing that ability to traverse to different devices. So, and when we take a look at what the components are within Xbox Game Pass and what actually makes up the value of that service, obviously we want to mention it's that 3-in-1 subscription, right? You get Xbox Live Gold and all the perks, Xbox Game Pass for console, all the perks, and of course, Xbox Game Pass for PC. So now we're starting to see our content, our ecosystem, the experience that people have on our platform. It's becoming a lot more expansive, dropping on different devices, allowing our consumers to play that they want. So when we look at Xbox Game Pass for console, again, we went through all the perks of having that on the console. But now we have it on PC, and a completely separate list of different titles that you can play on your PC. Some of them will carry over. You'll be able to play on both. But there are certain titles, mind you, Age of Empires, the definitive edition, the new 4K remastered version. Super, super fun game. An RTS style, kind of a nod to the OG StarCraft, Warcraft lovers of the world. And this game is only on the Game Pass for PC library because it is a PC native game. So you'll see titles like that as well, which adds to that mystery and that experience of what will I find on console, what will I find on PC, and then adding in, obviously, all those Xbox Live perks, connecting you to the most advanced multiplayer network, free games every month, and, of course, deals and discounts in the store. So we bundle all this into one subscription, one low monthly price for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Now, when we look at, again, the Xbox experience, or what is perceived to be the Xbox experience, we could probably stop right at the middle of this screen, right? Most of our understanding of Xbox, at least in the last 10 years, has been console, gold, controller. Pretty simple. The 3 steps that you need to get into our experience. Well, obviously, you can see farther on the right that we're expanding that experience. The Xbox experience doesn't just mean console anymore. Playing Xbox doesn't just mean console anymore. So we have to be sure that we're consistently, we're consistently portraying that theme of we are accessible everywhere. You can play content however you want with whoever you want. So that is just the excess of freedom that we give our consumers on this platform that are going to drive them to use our console, our PC services, our mobile services like Project X Cloud. Those are the things that are going to bring these consumers to us, to our brand. So when we change our mentality of what the Xbox experience is from just the left side of the screen to incorporating this right side, tablets, mobile phones, PCs, engaging with people via crossplay. If you're on Xbox, I want to play with my friend on PC, you can do that. Obviously, depending on the title, but that functionality is enabled on our platform. So super exciting to connect the community a little bit more, bring our mobile gamers over, from their click, bring our PC gamers over, get everyone in the same community and interacting together, sharing best practices, sharing experiences that they've had. Maybe a PC player is going to be able to persuade a mobile player to switch to PC. Whatever the situation may be, we are benefiting as a brand by combining all of these different groups of gamers into one community. Now, as we talk about, again, the experience going to PC, things look a lot different as you start to look at Xbox as a whole and you step away and look at it as a brand. As we're going into the Series X launch, the big theme here is connecting 4 generations of Xbox fans together. So again, those gamers like me who enjoyed the OG Xbox, played Halo, Mech Assault, Fusion Frenzy, Munch's Odyssey, I could go on and on. Those of us that enjoyed those titles and really had impressions, we're going to be given a lot of specs, a lot of details, and a lot of content that will appeal to this OG group of gamers. But at the same time, Series X is about inviting and incorporating those new to console gamers or new to PC, new to mobile, whatever it may be. We're opening the doors to those new consumers, hoping that these veterans that have been here for a while will obviously greet them with a warm welcome and kind of show them the ropes about what Xbox means now versus what they may have thought it looked like 10 years ago. So now when we look at pictures like this, it's weird, right? To see a green tower, a green gaming tower with Xbox Game Pass on the PC monitor, headsets, controller. We're showing off the Elite Series 1 there. But obviously right now it's all about the Elite Series 2. So, we have plenty of different content and things that go over the Elite Series 2 controller. But the one thing I wanted to point out about it was its compatibility not only with the Series X when it comes out, but its ability to play on mobile, on PC. You can take one accessory that was, it used to be native to just one platform, and now you're able to use not only our content, not only our devices, but now your accessories are compatible and ever flowing between all these different environments in which you can play. So when I'm sitting here with my Elite Series 2, I know that I can play it on my console. I can get a cord or use the Bluetooth setting and connect it to my PC. It's going to be compatible no matter what. And then adding that extra layer of, well, I have this controller now, but I want to get the new console. Should I get a newer controller? No. The Xbox Elite Series 2 is going to be compatible with the Xbox Series X. So, again, more options, more freedom, more community. Promoting all of these different aspects in our Xbox brand are going to be crucial to growing our community to get bigger and better, and obviously being able to share those experiences with more and more people. Project X Cloud, as you can see, we're starting to kind of even transverse even more from the tower gameplay and into a completely new realm. Gaming on the phone has been a thing for a few years now. Obviously, the type of games that you'll play on your phone, it varies. Sometimes it'll be a Bejeweled. Sometimes it'll be PUBG Mobile. It can be everything in between. And I believe we have Call of Duty Mobile as well. So very fast-paced FPS type game made for mobile. So the idea that people are interacting with their games on their cell phones is not foreign. It's not a weird idea to wrap your head around. People are doing it and have been doing it. We've seen controller rigs that put controllers right right on clip to the phone, and then you can use the controller instead of actually using your touchpad features. Whatever the situation may be, we knew that this community already existed. The question was, how do we access them? How do we get them familiar with our platform? And Project xCloud, honestly, is going to be that huge initiative pushing forward. So as we talk about Project xCloud, we want to bring up, obviously, some of the content that people can expect to play. So Minecraft Dungeons is obviously going to be a huge title for us in terms of, the Minecraft Dungeons cinematic decided to play for me. But when we talk about titles like Minecraft Dungeons, it really comes down to the type of first-party exclusive content that our consumers are going to be able to access, not just on console, not just on PC, but also on mobile. So there will be a specific set list of game titles that are only going to be playable, or not only playable, but they will be playable on Project xCloud. Not every Xbox title is going to be Project xCloud cleared. Hopefully that's something we start to see as the service grows and becomes more evolved, and becomes more familiar to the developers as well, so they know that, hey, as far as resolution, frame rate, hertz, screen tearing, ray tracing, whatever the situation may be when developing that game, they have that in mind, that there will be a community of people playing this game on mobile. So we want to make sure to optimize it for that device. So when we talk about Project xCloud, I mean, it is exactly what it sounds like. Stream Xbox games from the cloud. So get a first look at game streaming with Xbox and Project xCloud, which is the preview right now. Play over 50 Xbox favorites on your Android phone or tablet, streaming directly from the cloud over Wi-Fi or your mobile network. So when we talk about the difference between console streaming, which some of us may have experienced when you're on your Xbox app on your PC, and you can actually send your gameplay from your console to a separate device and play on that. So for example, I could be sitting in my living room with my Surface on my lap, turn on my console here in the office, go to the console streaming feature, and then basically send all the visuals, all the gameplay, all the experience from that console, and just boop, sends it via Wi-Fi over to my separate device that I want to play on. The difference with xCloud is you're not communicating from your console to your phone. You're communicating from the cloud to your phone. So this allows you to not have to, A, have a console to play Project xCloud, but B, you don't even have to have it on. You don't have to be projecting the gaming experience from your console to a device. It exists on that device. So when we talk about the difference, that's really the big difference, is it's not streaming from the console. It's directly connected to the cloud and is basically allowing you to access all this content without presenting it from something else. Beyond just the explanation of what this service is, obviously we want to talk about, how do you get involved? How do you become a part of it? How do you test it out? Well, xCloud has been rolling out, I wouldn't even say slowly but surely. I'd say they've been making pretty good pace as far as getting this service into the consumer's hands as early as possible. There's only certain regions where it's available right now, so don't freak out if you're like, I've never heard of this, or why can I not access it right now? It's not open to everyone necessarily, but it's getting there. So basically what you want to do is you obviously want to make sure you have a compatible device. So right here, we've got the compatible mobile device, Android version 6.0 or greater, with that Bluetooth version 4.0 or above. Compatible wireless controller with Bluetooth. Again, for me, it's going to be the Series X, but basically this little dial on the top, the little tiny little on the very, very top, that's going to be your kind of signal as to whether this controller is going to be able to use Bluetooth or not, because that's basically your pairing button for the Bluetooth feature. So if your controller doesn't have that, it may be a SKU of controller that maybe doesn't have that feature, or it's just an older controller. Highly would recommend grabbing one of our special edition or limited edition controllers that have that feature, or of course the Elite Series 2. But moving on, 5 gigahertz of Wi-Fi or mobile data connection, 10 MBS down. So your device obviously needs to connect to that server for through some way. So most of us, who use towers, we have Ethernet internet that actually plugs directly in, hardwired, if you will. But when you talk about the cellular devices, obviously we're not going to be sitting and keeping these plugged into our modem or our router. That would be kind of weird. So obviously this does utilize the Wi-Fi within your home to be able to communicate from the device to the cloud and back and forth. So keep that in mind. You'll want Wi-Fi and, of course, the game streaming app. So this is something you can download on your mobile phone. I made the mistake of trying to go download that on my PC, and it doesn't work that way. It's not meant for PC. This app is specifically for your mobile device to connect to that Project xCloud service. So this is kind of the main know before you start kind of shopping list, if you will, of things you want to make sure you have before you try to actually get into this service. So this is kind of the experience you're going to be looking at. Again, we looked at console experiences, we looked at tower experiences, but as we start to look at the mobile realm, this is a whole new way of playing and interacting with your games. To be able to take the bus to work and play Gears 5 while you're moving, that was unheard of 5-10 years ago. So we want to really clearly showcase how the Xbox experience is expanding. This is Xbox. Xbox on PC is Xbox. Xbox on console is Xbox. It's no longer the mentality of being console-centric. So, like we just talked about, we had our slide earlier where we talked about Xbox experience being console, services, controllers, and boom, you've got the full package, right? No, not anymore. Heading into Series X, obviously that's going to be a new console, which we'll be talking about, but again, that'll be just the console. These services are still going to continue to be developed and evolve. So when we get to that launch in December, Project xCloud is still going to be talked about. Game Pass is still going to be talked about. So knowing that these are going to be big parts of the ecosystem even after this next console launch, it kind of provides that clarity of these are really these are the focal points of the brand, the services, the accessories, and the ability to play on different devices. That's Xbox as a brand, bringing gaming to you wherever you are. That is Xbox. So as we move forward towards the Series X launch, and we'll be hearing a lot of details between now and then, hopefully we can start to wrap our mentalities around Xbox is no longer a console. It is an ecosystem. It's an experience. And understanding all the different ways that our consumers can interact with that experience is obviously going to give you the best understanding of how to convey that value. So 3 different pictures here, all part of the Xbox experience. That's all we got for you today, ladies and gents. Hopefully you got enough clarity on all these different elements that we talk about when it comes to playing on your PC, playing on mobile, playing on your tower, on your tablet, whatever it may be. You can play Xbox wherever you are with the friends you want on the devices you want. So as long as you can remember that, we should be set and ready to roll for our Series X launch.